Good morning to all my garden buddies out there. It's shopping time at Home Depot, and I went and got myself some plants. As you can see, quite a few plants. But it was pretty expensive, but I wanted to share with you what you can do if you have a YouTube channel and you want to put up a post every day, but you can't afford to go out and spend $45 for this amount of plants every single day to make a post. I'm going to do a whole bunch of posts with these same plants, and I'm going to share with you how I do it. I won't be putting them in the soil right away. Don't panic. Eventually they will go in the soil. But we're just going to start right now by leaving them in their container to make an instant display that will look beautiful. And I will probably do it 3 or 4 different ways. And then I will eventually plant them in their own space where they're going to go, where I want them to go. Now, most of my plants I grow from seeds. About 98% of my plants I grow from seeds. I should also mention, I also use a lot of cuttings to repropagate plants in my garden also to save money. So I do a lot of things like that. So I do buy some new plants every year. Like I want to do a great display and I want to have the flowers or the plants in a specific area. Well, I have to have them grown up to be able to do that. I can't just throw a seed out and probably get that display. But I'm going to do a display with these plants, but because it's so expensive, it was like $45 for the amount of plants that I bought. I'm going to replant that same area later with seeds to show you that you can do it. It may not look quite as good as it's going to look having them like I'm going to share tonight, but you can do it, and it's going to be like maybe $1 or $2 at the most. So you're not going to be spending a ton of money. But as you see, I've always said buying plants is very expensive, and I used to do a lot of gardening at one time, and it was just amazing how much money I would spend. Well, I don't do that anymore. I do go out and buy plants probably once a month now to do a project that I want in a certain way. But the rest of them, they're just seeds. Now I'm going to take these plants apart after I do I'm not quite sure how many displays I'm going to do. I'm going to at least do 2 or 3 with these plants in their containers. Then I will be taking them apart and make more fairy gardens, because these are the kind of plants I use in my fairy gardens. And the Dusty Millers there, that's the white plants that are sort of leafy behind the Sweet Alyssums. They are going to go in a fairy garden, but I'm not going to plant them because they get really good size. They're a good size plant, but they're a plant that stays with us for a long time. Now here's the receipt, what I spent. It was $41.78 before they added taxes. And that brought it to $45.02. Oh well. But keep in mind, Grandma is going to be getting at least out of this shopping trip at least 3 big displays. Then on top of that, I'll break this down into small fairy gardens, and I will probably end up getting another maybe 8 or 10 posts. So these beautiful Sweet Alyssums, I will only be using maybe 4 per container, and I bought quite a few 6-packs. So the whole idea is to reuse, repurpose, and once I put them in the fairy gardens, they'll probably just stay, and I'll pull them out of their little 6-packs. So the Dusty Millers, I'll use them in a couple of displays, but I'm going to put them in the actual garden because they get big and they can't stay in the fairy pots because they're not big enough. So that's my plan. I hope you enjoyed seeing what Grandma had to share today. Better come back tonight. You're not going to believe what I'm going to be able to do with these plants. And I keep talking about it. I haven't made it yet, so let's hope it's as great as I think it's going to be, because it's all in my mind. What I want it to look like and how it's going to work. And let's hope I know what I'm talking about. And like I said, where I'm going to put them, it is looking really rough, really bad. And I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I want you to see how bad my yard really does look. Not all of my yard looks bad. I have a lot of areas that look beautiful because I always take pictures. But there's a lot of areas that don't look all that great. But I'm always cleaning, redoing, and repurposing, replanting, reseeding, and then of course I get antsy and I want to tear everything apart, and I do that all the time too. To restart, I just dug up the front yard, added an extra foot on each side of those flower beds to add more room to grow food in. I've already put some tomatoes in, and you're going to see a lot of growth in the next 3 or 4 months. I'm hoping by May I will have my yard looking beautiful. Once we get to May, I won't be doing any more planting after May, because it's so hot here that I don't even know why I buy plants after the end of May, because it's so hot here. The plants struggle so much, it's just too much for them. And it's too much for me to be out in the garden. So, better enjoy all the plantings right now and seeds, because there won't be any after May. Now, here's that area I'm talking about. You can see it looks really bad. Now, it's not as really bad as it looks, because there's a lot of succulents in there, a lot of plants. They just don't look good. It's wintertime here in California. And even though it's wintertime, and I can grow flowers here, you can see I haven't got to this area yet, and it looks terrible. If you go back and look on my videos last May in this area, you will see it was beautiful. 4th of July, I couldn't tell you how beautiful it was last 4th of July. It was just gorgeous. It will look good again. It's going to take time. There's a lot of seeds I've already thrown in there, and once those seeds come up, there'll be a lot of beautiful flowers in with all those succulents. The succulents are all healthy and they're doing great. I may take some cuttings off of some of those succulents to make more fairy gardens, and I have a lot of fairy gardens here that need to be redone, and I will be sharing each fairy garden as I redo it with you, because I do about 2 fairy gardens every Thursday. Sometimes we get 3 in there. I'm also sharing with you what the fairy gardens look like after a month or so, where the plants have a chance to grow and fill out. So when you see a fairy garden being put together, just keep in mind that in a month after that fairy garden's put together, it's even going to look better than when I put it together, because the plants are going to have time to fill out. Just like this area is going to be beautiful. I'm going to do this area with those plants, and then I'm going to turn around and get seeds and replant it with seeds. To sort of, it's not going to match perfectly because they're seeds, but I'm going to try to recreate it with just doing it with seeds, to show you the cost of what it costs me to do it with plants already grown compared to what it costs me to do it with seeds, and break down the cost. Hope you enjoy the video.